Well, good morning.
Good morning.
With us today we have Mr. John Bell. He's owner and president of the Matrix Department. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How y'all?
We're going to ask you just a few questions, if that's all right. Thanks for being with us.
That's fine.
All right. Well, here we go. What was your first job?
Well, my first job, I guess my first real job would be I worked for a West Milford Pharmacy in New Jersey. I was basically just a cleaner. I was about 14 years old, and I worked 4 hours a day, 3 days a week. My duties were, basically clean up everything. Wash the windows, vacuum, dust, stock the soda machine. Pretty much anything cleaning, I was the man to clean it up. But then, I rapidly did excel in that company, and we ended up as a cashier before I moved down to Georgia.
All right. And what was the first thing that you spent money on when you got your first ever paycheck?
If I remember correctly, it's probably a fishing pole and fishing reel.
All right.
I think the brand was a Mitchell 500 with a diable rod. But I love to fish.
I was going to say, apparently you like to fish.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And going to your business now, what's the single most effective technique you found over the past 2 years for keeping your employees motivated?
I'd say the kind of our relaxed and laid-back atmosphere. Not being super strict, but still having guidelines to do our day-to-day activities. Listening to employees and addressing their issues, but at the same time making them understand the way I'd like things to run. I guess that probably motivates them the most.
Sure.
Just being a nice boss. I guess they keep saying that, so I don't know.
Well, what led you to your current position? Why did you want to operate your own business?
Well, I've always had a passion for fine art, and I actually met a guy, my ex-partner, in the business that helped me start Matrix. He used to do signs and graphics with your basic vinyl lettering. He at the time he was getting ready to marry my sister, and he had an idea, and I thought it was good, so we started this. We went out and went together and got a loan, and it made a business plan. It worked, and we got the loan, and then just baby steps to where we are today.
And here you are.
That's right.
So, speaking of that, do you have a role model or a mentor in your career?
Yeah, my role model would be my father. He was a executive director of human relations for a large company, and I've always noticed he worked very hard all his life. Everything he has was, he got himself, and I've always wanted to be just like him. He's just, I've always admired my father for all his hard work.
And what is the biggest lesson that you as a business leader have learned from the recent recession?
I would say don't quit. Always, look for ways to make that money. I've learned that business always changes. It doesn't matter from year to year. So you've got to kind of figure out what that change is and change to it.
Be versatile.
Yeah, and you don't like that, but sometimes you don't have a choice if you want to stay in business. And you've got to tighten up, accounts payable, and make your customers pay you back when you have accounts out there.
If you could turn the clock back on one aspect of technology, for example, emails, automated phone systems, cell phones, PDAs, etc., what would you most like to see go away?
I don't know. I don't think. Think about that question. I think they all have their place. I don't say anything negative about any of them because I use them all. My family uses them all. So I don't know. I wouldn't have an answer to that. I think they all have a use.
In that same vein, John, what is your favorite work-related gadget?
I guess my favorite work-related gadget, is my cell phone. It's just interesting to me, something so small, a smartphone, and it can do so much, from keep my appointments, I can surf the web, I can get access to my server here at the company. It just helps me with my day-to-day functions. Without it, I probably would be lost. So
What's your favorite tradition?
My favorite tradition, I guess getting together with family during the holidays. We always, on Thanksgiving we always kind of spend a lot of time with my wife's family, and then during Christmas time and Christmas Eve we spend a lot of time with my family. And we both have pretty large families. I would say that's probably my favorite traditions.
What was the last book you read? Do you have things that you read daily or regularly?
Well, I'm not a big reader. Never have been. But I guess last book I read was Liberty and Tyranny by Mark Levine. It was a good book, but again, I don't read a whole lot.
And what time are you up and going by? What's your morning routine?
Well, I'm pretty much up by 6:30. I do your normal stuff: shower, eat breakfast. Then I help my wife get our 3 kids ready for school, and I'm usually out of the door by 7:15, and off to work, and then open this place up. That's.
And what famous person would you like to meet? Why?
That's a hard question.
Living or dead?
I don't know. I guess thinking about it, I guess how about Albert Einstein? Because he was just a creator, very interesting guy. I did a report on him. I remember in school one time. He's just very interesting, very outgoing. Well, not outgoing, but just smart. Looks at things a different way. Figures out a problem. I think that's what I like about him. I guess why I would want to meet him.
And your favorite hobbies or activities outside work?
Hunting and fishing. Those are definitely my favorite things. I know my employees would say duck hunting. I always talk about duck hunting. The last 2 years it seemed to be my thing lately, and it's just a lot of fun. And it helps me with the stress of business. It definitely helps relax that.
And if you could take back one business decision you made in your career, what would it be?
I don't know. I don't think I really regret any of my decisions. I've had a lot of bad decisions, but I've always learned from them. So I can't really say what one I would take back, because I don't really regret any of them. I've had bumps in the road and things have been tough at times, but I've always learned from them.
And what's the best thing about your job?
I'm my own boss. I make what happens. I make sure the day goes through. I make sure things get done. It just, I don't ever have to worry about being fired. It's if I don't make it, it's my own fault.
And the worst thing?
Being my own boss. Because if I don't make it, it's my own fault.
That's it.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship there.
Two-edged sword.
That's right.
What was the most beneficial course you took in school?
My most beneficial course? Probably, I guess, my drafting and design class. That class, led me to learn a lot about detail and focusing on detail and paying attention to it and how important it is. That was probably my beneficial class, I guess.
What would be your dream job if you were able to pick a position outside your current career path?
I guess my dream job. How about a professional bass fisherman?
There you go.
They get to do something they enjoy every day. They get to go to different lakes all over the place and catch big bass. And I think I'd like to do that for a while. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but for a job.
Well, I guess you'd probably get sick of it after a while, right? Wouldn't you?
Finish this thought for me, John. On the first anniversary of my retirement, I see myself.
I see myself sitting on my front porch, overlooking my 10-acre pond, on my 50 acres of land, drinking a cup of coffee.
All right. And what's the one trait a strong business leader cannot afford to be without?
Courage. You've got to have a lot of courage. To me, it's just, that's probably the building blocks of a business. You can't be afraid to get your feet wet. You can't be afraid to make financial decisions. You can't be afraid to take a risk. And then you got to learn to take the consequences with those risks. So definitely courage.
crystal ball time, John, what's your call on when the economic recovery for our area will be in full swing? You know the answer to that, don't you?
I don't know. You know, in my opinion, if we don't do something with manufacturing, we're never going to see a financial recovery. You know, there's not a lot of wealth-producing jobs out there, and that would be my biggest thing. If we don't see an increase in manufacturing, especially in South Georgia, it's not going. It's the only thing it's going to do is get worse.
What kind of music might I find on your list of most played on your iPod?
Heavy metal. Probably, you know, your Metallica, your Megadeth, I mean, stuff like that. I grew up with it. You know, I guess it was a northern thing up there. It's my favorite kind of music. So.
What, no Allman Brothers?
No Allman Brothers. You know, I like some country. You know, some Allman Brothers are alright, but definitely had heavy metals up there on top of the list.
What do you think is the biggest change Albany will see in the next 10 years?
The biggest change Albany will see. That's a good question. I don't know. You know, Albany worries me, and always has. You know, they try very hard to make Albany a better place, but it always seems to go forward, but take two steps back. So I don't know that answer to that question. I don't know.
What was the best vacation you've ever taken, and why?
Best vacation. Best vacation, I guess, was I went to Satellite Beach, Florida, to actually visit my grandma, and I stayed at her house. She was, you know, I guess towards the end of her life, and we decided to go down there and see her. But at the same time, it turned into being one of the best vacations of my wife and my first child. We just had a great time at the beach, visiting the grandma. You know, we ate at some different little funny restaurants. We actually got to see a rocket launch from Patrick's Air Force Base, you know, Cape Canaveral. So it was fun. It was a fun.
Hence the name, right?
Yeah, it was just a fun time, and I for some reason that vacation has always stuck in my head. So. And
finally, what are the biggest changes that you've seen in your specific line of business over the past few years?
Well, all kinds. I mean, my industry is constantly changing. You know, I would say the biggest change would be ink formalizations. You know, being greener inks, not so harsh to the environment. You know, our inks use a lot of solvents. Now they're going more towards UV curable. Also bio inks, where they use different vegetable base to make them. Also to actually latex type inks, where there's just I think sustainability and greener products would be the biggest change in our industry.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you talking with us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.